pose. Obviously, I already told you we're going to do lots of chairs and boats. You guys are not going to run because you guys enjoy chairs and boats just as much as I do. So in your chair pose, or no, I lied, it's child's pose. In your child's pose, take a few breaths. Taking that moment to create those mindful breaths. Taking that moment to also scan the body, noticing what areas feel really good, what areas perhaps don't feel as good. And as we go through the practice today, we're going to give those areas that just don't feel as good, we're going to give those areas a little bit more breath, a little bit more energy, and a whole lot of grace. Taking in a breath, lift up into your tabletop, onto your hands and knees, and just go through a few rounds of cat-cow, all on your own. As you inhale into cow pose, and then when you're ready, exhale to cat pose. So we're going to all do a slightly different number of cat-cows. Some of us might do more, some of us might do less. We're moving with our breath. Go through one more round of cat-cows. When you're done with your cat-cows, return back to that neutral spine. And one time only, tuck under the toes, sit your hips back, take a little toe squat. One time only. So you can sit hips to heels, you can be lifted up a little bit more, perhaps you keep your hands on the floor. One time only. We're just using this to kind of wake up the back side of the body. Love on our feet a little bit. If you think of chair pose and boat pose, they're very similar shapes. We've just changed which part of the body is on the floor, whether it's the feet or the backside, but very similar shapes, especially if you do a bent knee variation of boat pose. So the idea is it's the same shape. It's just different strength work happening within it. And it all works the back of the body, which we're waking up right now. So next exhale, take your hands to the mat, lift the hips, down dog. Find some movement in your pose to start. Settling into the pose whenever you're ready to settle into it. Next, exhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. So you're into your forward fold, giving yourself all the grace that you deserve in the pose. So bend your knees as much as it's comfortable. Next, inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach the arms all the way overhead. On an exhale, forward fold again. Taking a breath, lift up halfway, creating that illusion of a flat back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms reach all the way overhead. This time, exhale, first chair pose of the practice. You, as always, get to decide your arm variation. It could be arms overhead, could be palms together, heart center. Next, exhale, fold forward. Taking in a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold, hands to the mat, step back to a high plank. We've been in the mode of practicing chaturangas, so we're prepared, we're ready. Exhale into the chaturanga. Inhale up, dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. This is where we start building that internal heat, warming up our bodies from the inside out. Step or jump your feet to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Reach the arms all the way overhead. On an exhale, chair pose. We've arrived again. It's only the second chair pose of the practice. As a reminder, striving to keep weight towards the heels. That's going to activate the glutes. Quads are still working, but not as much if you keep weight in heels. Arms can be wherever you want them to go. Next, exhale, fold forward. Taking in a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold, hands to the mat. Step back to your high plank. Next exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Taking in a breath, lift up the right leg. Lift it up high. On an exhale, lizard pose. So right foot steps forward to the right side of the mat. Left knee comes down. Arms are on the inside portion of the right leg. So this is one of those poses. Feel your way around. You can shift, move. I mean, if you want to dance in this pose, you're welcome to dance. You can be on palms. You can take it to forearms. You also have the option, if you wanted to bend the left knee. Perhaps you take left hand back to grab the left foot. Perhaps you just bend the knee and take the heel towards the backside. Putting all the weight into your right foot. Left foot's gonna step forward. So you're gonna tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, step forward into a Malasana squat. So we all know, not everyone can Malasana. So your hips might be sitting a little bit higher and be a little bit more in line with your knees. No worries. A squat is a squat, no matter how low you go. So perhaps you went to a chair pose instead of a Malasana. Totally okay. You're still going to get the same benefit. Again, this is one of those poses. Anytime we're in a squat, shift, move, add some circles, change things up, find what's working for you. We did that practice Monday where it was all about self-care. So find the self-care within the pose. And then Because we're so close to the floor, let's just take it down to a boat pose. So perhaps you take your hands back and reach and put the hips down and then find boat pose. That's always allowed. Find the variation of boat pose that of course is going to work for you. Make sure you're breathing. It's always okay to hold your thighs. Now we're going to bring our hands behind the thighs if they're not already. We're going to rock back and forth a couple times, come back into that squat, whether it's Malasana or a chair pose or somewhere in between. So rock it back and forward. Do it a couple times. You guys know my favorite number is 3. Perhaps you practice 3, perhaps you don't. Hands can go to the floor to help get you there into the pose. Aren't we having fun already? I know you're saying yes. So take your hands to the mat. Left foot steps back. So we're going back into the exact same lizard pose. Left foot steps back. Right knee bends. Right back into that lizard. Perhaps it feels a little different because we threw in a Malasana squat or two into there. And then if you wanted to bend the left knee, it's there. And then perhaps instead of the left hand reaching back, you reach back with the right hand. Again, you don't even have to bend the knee if you don't want to. You don't even have to reach back there. It's all your choice. Tuck the left toes, lift back up, down dog. Inhale, right leg, or I'm sorry, left leg lift. Left leg lift on the inhale. Exhale, lizard pose. Left knee comes, or left foot comes down into the lunge. Right knee comes down. Finding your lizard pose. I was reading to the kids last night, and I was reading the Dr. Seuss book, all the places you could go. And there's a line at the end that says, never confuse left and right. And I was like, oh man, I'm screwed. Take your variation here, knowing that you can bend the right knee, your right hand can reach back and grab the right foot. Hands back to the mat if they're not already. Right foot steps forward, find your squat. Whether it's Malasana or chair pose or something in between. Squatting, you guys have heard me say it before, it got such a bad rap in the 80s, and it's so healthy and important for your body to be able to squat. So let's go to a boat pose. So take your hips down. You can use the hand to get there if you want. Ooh. Find your variation that's going to work best for you here. Make sure you're breathing the whole time. It's so great to breathe. And we take it. Hold the sides now. Rock forward and back a few times. Come back into your squat. Oh. It always feels a little bit nicer after we've done it once or twice. This is our 4th time in our squat. Taking your hands to the mat, we go back to lizard on the exact same side. So right foot steps back, right knee comes down. Take a moment just to breathe here. Again, find your variation. If you wanted to bend the right knee, you could take left hand back there. Ooh. Some days you got it. Some days you got to work with what you've got. So I'm not reaching that foot today. I know I'm close. Take the hands back to the mat. Down dog. Once you're in your down dog, take your hands, walk them all the way back to the back of the mat. So you're at a forward fold at the back of the mat. On your next inhale, chair pose. So we're lifting up into it this time. Exhale, forward fold. Taking a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bending the knees to get you there. It's okay to make those little adjustments. When we lift up into it, sometimes you get into it a little bit different and it feels a little different. So make the adjustments as needed. Exhale, fold forward. Taking a breath, lift it halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, chair pose. Next, exhale, forward fold. Taking a breath, lift it halfway. Exhale as you fold, hands to the mat. Walk your hands forward, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step or jump your feet to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Arms reach all the way overhead. Exhale, chair pose. Gosh, we were just here. You just have to remind yourself how much you love chair pose. I'm sure you love it as much as I do. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Hands to the mat. Step back into a high plank. Again, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg lift. Exhale, lizard. Step it forward. Bring the left knee down. Find your variation. Find what's working. So we're going to change our sequence just a hair here. So lift the left knee up. Left foot steps forward. Find your squat. Whatever your squat is. And if you're like me and you're right in front of a wall, back yourself up a little bit. Back yourself up a little bit. So we're in our squat, and the amount of space you need in front of you is just a leg length worth. A leg length worth. Say it 5 times fast. So from here, instead of taking it directly to our boat here, which we could, but we're not going to. We could. We're going to shift the weight to our right foot. Perhaps you take hands to the floor because you're going to sit your hips back. Left leg goes forward in front of you. So now you have this left leg long, right knee is bent with foot on the ground. You decide if this right foot stays on the inside of the left leg or you cross it over. Doesn't matter. We're going to twist though. Left arm hugs the right knee to the chest. Right hand's behind you. Taking a breath as you lift up and lengthen. As you exhale, twist. Pulling the right hip back, twisting through the abdomen, open the chest and shoulders, turn the head. Taking in a breath. Bring it back to center. If you cross the leg, uncross it. We're going to lift up into a wild thing. So right foot is flat, right knee is bent. Right hand reaches behind you. You're going to take in that breath, push through the right foot, lift the hips, left arm reaches up and overhead. So you can tweak this, you can change it, you can shift it, or you can just find the variation that works in your body. And if you didn't feel like lifting, keep your hips down. It's okay. Exhale, lower the hips back down, bring it back center, immediately go into a boat pose. Oh, there's the boat pose that we've been missing, right? Grab behind your thighs if you're not already. Rock a few times. Come back to your Malasana squat or chair pose or something in between. Find your squat. My mat keeps shifting closer to the wall. That was so much fun. Let's go back to boat pose. Again, yes, we're all about the boat. The boat. And I mean, there's some places they've needed boats. You know, there was flooding south of me. My sister-in-law's over outside Philadelphia. She's got flooding. You know, we all need boats. We all need boats right now. So hold your thighs in towards your chest, rock a few times, come back into that Malasana squat, or it's a chair squat, or something in between. Oh. Oh. That was so much fun. Don't you want a boat pose again? Of course you want a boat pose again. Take your hips down, lift your feet if that's the boat you're taking. This time, we're gonna rock and roll. But instead of coming up into a squat, we're gonna rock and roll enough to flip ourselves over and take a chaturanga. So rock a few times, knowing that it doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be smooth and seamless. And it might not happen. You might have to take 75 steps to get there. But flow into the chaturanga, the up dog, and then the down dog. Take your hands, walk them to the back of the mat. You're into a forward fold. Taking a breath, lift up just halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Taking a breath, lift halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, chair pose. Whew. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Hands to the mat, walk them forward, high plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Inhale, left leg lift. Exhale, lizard pose, step it through. Right knee comes down. As always, you have that option to bend the right knee if it feels good. You could reach back and grab the right foot if it feels good. Hands back to the mat if they're not already. Right knee lifts, right foot comes forward. Find your lunge, not your lunge, your squat. Your squat. Either malasana or chair pose. You know, lunges are in my head. It's lunch time, and I forget what I was typing. I don't know if I was typing it or something was captioning what I was saying, but I said lunge, and it typed it in as lunch. And I was like, see, even autocorrect wants me to be eating lunch and not a lunge. So from our squat, because we're not doing lunges today, well, lizard, but we're not doing any others. But from our squat, our hips come down, right leg goes forward. Right leg goes forward, left knee's bent. So this left foot is flat on the ground. It can either be on the inside of the leg or you can cross it over. Right arm hugs the knee to the chest. Left hand's behind you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull the left hip back. Twist through the abdomen, open the chest. Turn the head. Taking in a breath, bring it back to center. Uncross the leg if you had it crossed. This is where we lift to the wild thing. So left hand reaches behind you. You can put the right foot flat if you wanted to. You can do this with both knees bent or just the left knee bent. Your choice. Taking a breath, lift up. Right arm is reaching overhead. Try to keep your feet on the mat, otherwise you might slide. Exhale, lower the hips down. Immediately, boat pose. Oh, how we've missed the boat poses. We've gotten away from practicing them. That's just not cool. Pull the knees towards the chest. We're going to rock and roll a few times. Back into our Malasana squat. Again, it might be another squat. Always allowed. And again, a boat pose. So let your hips come back. Perhaps you use a hand to get there. Perhaps you don't. It's your choice. You could have straight legs here, bent knees here. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock and roll a few times back into your squat. Your squat. Your Malasana and or chair squat. Ooh. If you're not warmed up yet, I don't know what's going on. One more boat pose. Just one more. So take your hips back. Find that seat. Lift the legs. This time, hug the knees to the chest. Rock and roll a few times, enough to flip yourself over for chaturanga. Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't have to be seamless. Find what works for you as you flow into chaturanga. Up dog and down dog. Once you get to down dog, take it to child's pose. Knees wide, hips back. Next inhale, walk it up. Swing the legs out in front, just long enough to roll yourself down on your back. Pull the knees to the chest, take happy baby. Happy baby, very similar to a squat. Very similar to a squat. Again, you just change what part of your body's on the ground. Releasing the feet, knees back to the chest. On an exhale, take both your knees to the right side of your body. Arms wherever you want them to go. And if you were to really think about a reclined twist here, very similar to a boat pose as well. We just again changed which part of the body is being supported by the floor. Taking in a breath, knees back to the chest. Next exhale, take the knees over to the left. Taking in a breath. Bring the knees back into the chest. Hug them there, squeezing in tight. This is where you get to really thank yourself for coming into the practice, giving yourself this gift of a yoga practice. And on an exhale, extend your way into Shavasana. Finding that comfortable spot where you can get out those last few fidgets. Lengthen and deepen your breath. Allowing yourself to relax and really giving yourself the rest you deserve. bringing the awareness back into your breath, and back into your body. As you start to bring in those little movements into the fingers and toes. Those little movements grow bigger and then work their way up ankles and wrists and arms and legs. Rocking the head side to side. And rolling to one side of your body into a fetal position. And just taking a moment just to breathe and be mindful of your breath, mindful of what's happening in your body and what sensations you're noticing and what areas feel really good, and perhaps there's still a few that just don't feel as good. And that's okay. We'll work on those areas. So taking in a breath, push yourself up into a comfortable seat. As always, you get to find that comfortable seat. Bringing your palms together at heart center. With all of the gratitude for joining me in practice today. With everything in me, thanking and honoring everything in you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Awesome. Have a good weekend. I'll see you Monday.
Thank you. So you are teaching us on the holiday?
Yeah, I always forget it's a holiday anyway. So, we'll just keep going.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks,
I'll see you on
Deanne.
Monday.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Have a good one.